It's not by chance that you're viewing this video. There's a reason you're here. Everything is unfolding exactly as it should. Trust the timing of your life and know that you're being led to where you're meant to be. As you stumble on this video, perhaps not by chance, it will serve to awaken you. Deep within your spirit, there has been a persistent and powerful stirring, a profound longing for redemption, an unrelenting hunger for justice, and a desperate cry for restoration. You have experienced the loss of valuable time, energy, and even entire seasons of your life, not merely in the physical sense, but emotionally and spiritually as well. You have witnessed others ascend and flourish while you remain stuck in place, feeling overlooked and forgotten. In moments of vulnerability, you have questioned yourself and even God, asking, did I miss my opportunity? Have I come too far to turn back? Is it too late for me? Yet receive this truth with clarity and conviction. God is preparing to repay you for every single year that was lost, every season of silence, every act of betrayal, every delay that tested your patience, and every detour that seemed to divert your path. None of it has been wasted. In fact, what lies ahead will not merely compensate for what you lost, it will surpass it abundantly. What is coming will be greater than what was taken, which proves that nothing, absolutely nothing, has been wasted. Before we delve into the depths of this divine revelation, let's break this down into 7 prophetic chapters orchestrated by heaven to awaken and restore your heart, renew your mind, and stir your spirit to full receptivity. Pause for a moment to ensure that you like, share, and subscribe, for this message is not merely content to be consumed casually, but rather a sacred transmission of divine compensation wrapped in heavenly confirmation. And if you are someone who has endured the loss of precious time, missed out on what felt like once-in-a-lifetime opportunities, or lived under the heavy weight of believing that your best years have been wasted or irretrievably stolen, then know without doubt that this word is your prophecy in motion, unfolding in real time. And if something deep within you resonates with this spiritual frequency, if your spirit bears witness to this call, then type the number 77 in the comments right now, for that number is far from arbitrary. It is a sacred signal, a divine code sent forth as a declaration to both heaven and earth that you are ready, not only for restoration and repayment, but for complete alignment with the fullness of God's perfect timing and redemptive purpose for your life. Not everyone will remain until the end, but for those who do, they will walk away with renewed clarity, unwavering conviction, and a profound confirmation that God is preparing to restore and repay them for every year that was lost. This is not merely a video to watch once. It is a divine reminder meant to be revisited repeatedly. Each time it is replayed, it unveils a new layer of healing, reveals a deeper truth, and brings forth a fresh wave of restoration that meets you exactly where you are. Let us begin. Chapter 1. God saw what they could not. Chosen one, pause and reflect on this truth. This is not merely another message. It is divine confirmation that every tear shed, every sacrifice made, and every silent battle endured was seen and acknowledged by the one who matters most. You did not arrive at this word by accident. God himself led you here as a sacred reminder that nothing you did in secret escaped heaven's attention. You have endured seasons where your obedience to God made you appear foolish in the eyes of others. You followed his voice when those around you urged you to give up. You chose to turn the other cheek when your flesh cried out for retaliation. You extended love even when you received betrayal. You extended grace in moments when all you received in return was judgment. You remained loyal even within environments that proved themselves unworthy of your loyalty. You willingly laid down your comfort, your reputation, your time, and at times even your mental and emotional peace, all for the sake of answering a higher calling. And for a season, it felt as though your sacrifices went unnoticed. Your tears were unseen, and your efforts were in vain. It seemed like no one cared, like your faithfulness was invisible to the world around you. But God saw. He saw the difficult decisions you had to make, including the painful choice to walk away from relationships that were quietly draining your destiny. He saw the countless nights you cried yourself to sleep, and yet somehow still found the strength to rise the next morning and pour encouragement into others. He saw your private acts of devotion, like the fasts you undertook without recognition, the tithes you gave even when your own needs were unmet. He saw your courage to remain steadfast in your convictions, refusing to conform even when compromise would have been the easier and more socially acceptable route. He witnessed your integrity in places where others merely performed for applause, your authenticity shining where only pretense was expected. And through it all, he has not forgotten you. What seemed hidden to the world was fully visible to heaven. While the world remained preoccupied with criticizing what they perceived as your delay, God was attentively observing and recording your discipline. As others mocked the stillness of your journey, heaven was reverently acknowledging the power and purpose behind your silence. While some assumed that your lack of visible progress was evidence of defeat, in reality, God was strategically planting you, deeply, slowly, and with great intentionality. You are not stepping into this new season of your life by chance. It is neither a product of luck, coincidence, nor favoritism. Rather, it is the manifestation of divine justice. You have been refined and processed in the hidden places, away from the public eye, and now God is preparing to unveil his glory through your life before the world. And no, this unfolding is not happening simply to prove your doubters wrong. It is taking place to confirm that God was always right about who you are and who you were destined to become. He chose you with intention and purpose. He called you and he covered you in moments when no one else was willing or able to stand by your side. He perceived what others failed to see, heard the prayers that were whispered in secret and overlooked by human ears, and felt the weight of the heartbreak you concealed from the world. He walked closely with you through every season of loss, through each betrayal, and through every lonely night that seemed to stretch endlessly. And now he is responding, not because you demanded attention, but because your unwavering faith moved his heart. Not because you sought recognition through noise or display, but because your quiet obedience resounded powerfully in the spiritual realm. Not because you forced your way forward, but because you placed your trust in him to open the right doors at the appointed time. This is the God who faithfully rewards those who earnestly seek him in the secrecy of quiet devotion. This is the God who places crowns upon the heads of those who serve selflessly and silently, away from the spotlight. This is the God who exalts the humble and stands in opposition to the proud. You have never been forgotten. You are being intentionally forged. You have not been overlooked. You are being thoroughly overprepared. And now the very same God who witnessed your silent suffering is preparing to bless you in ways so evident and extraordinary that they will speak louder than words. You did not miss your moment. Rather, you were being divinely prepared and refined for it. So prepare your heart, chosen one, for the heavens have seen it all, and now the earth is about to behold the evidence of what God has been doing in you all along. Chapter 2. Your wasted years were actually hidden years, divinely chosen. Let us bring clarity to the confusion that once clouded your understanding. The years you believed were wasted, those seasons marked by silence, obscurity, or seeming inactivity, were in fact intricately woven into the very foundation of your purpose. While others around you appeared to be advancing, celebrated by public promotion and visible progress, you were being carefully and deliberately processed in private. You were not being punished, you were being prepared. What felt like a delay was, in reality, divine development. What appeared as stagnation was sacred stillness, an intentional pause designed for your strengthening. During that time, people questioned your pace, your decisions, and even your faith. Some assumed you lacked ambition, others concluded you had veered off course. But what they failed to see, what only heaven understood, was that God had intentionally placed you in hiding, not to withhold your destiny, but to fortify your soul in preparation for it. He was protecting what he was perfecting. And now what once looked like a detour will be revealed as divine direction. You were never wasting time. Rather, you were gaining weight in the spirit, developing depth, strength, and substance that could not be seen with the natural eye. You were not being overlooked. You were being overshadowed by God himself, held under the shelter of his hand for a purpose greater than immediate visibility. You were not standing still. You were being stretched beyond the surface, expanded in places the world could not perceive. In those hidden years, You engaged in a deep and often painful wrestling with your identity. You shed layers of self that could not accompany you into your next season. You broke generational cycles, confronted inner wounds, and allowed yourself to be vulnerable, both with God and with your own soul. In the process, you surrendered what was counterfeit in order to make space for what was authentic. You were not merely surviving. You were undergoing transformation. The wilderness you walked through was not a sign of abandonment, but rather a sacred training ground, a place where God was equipping you for what lies ahead. The silence you experienced was not a sign of abandonment. It was a deliberate part of God's strategy. The season of obscurity was not a punishment. It was the very environment in which the anointing, the oil, was being cultivated within you. For what God is constructing in your life cannot be rushed, fabricated, or microwaved. It demands depth. It demands patience. It demands the careful and sometimes painful process of pruning. You are being intentionally stripped, not to leave you empty, but to ensure that nothing superficial or shallow could cling to you. You are being refined so that no counterfeit version of your calling could distract you from your divine assignment. Your roots are being driven deep, not just for stability, but to ensure they are strong enough to sustain the weight of the glory you are destined to carry. When God chooses to hide you, it is never to harm you. Rather, it is to hone you, to shape, sharpen, and prepare you. God conceals his most powerful vessels until the appointed time, holding them in sacred protection until what he has placed within them is fully matured. Mature enough to endure, strong enough to lead, and too precious to be mishandled by an unprepared world. God, in his infinite wisdom, understood that premature exposure had the potential to destroy what he was cultivating within you. And so, in his mercy, he chose to conceal you while he completed you. The quiet years you endured were not wasted. They were sacred, holy moments of preparation. The lonely seasons you walked through were not signs of isolation, but divine invitations into deeper intimacy with the Holy Spirit. Those prolonged stretches when nothing seemed to change were not denials of destiny, but strategic setups for a sudden and significant shift. And now the winds are beginning to change. The spiritual atmosphere is shifting. The veil that once concealed is being lifted. The divine covering is being pulled back. You are stepping into visibility, not because you pursued the spotlight, but because you remain faithful in the shadows. You are being revealed, not to seek attention or applause, but to fulfill an assignment ordained by heaven. You are being called forth, not to impress the world, but to impact it profoundly with the weight of all that God has done within you. People will witness the fruit of your life, yet they will not comprehend the depth of the root system beneath it. They will marvel at your radiance, unaware of the intense fire you had to walk through in order to carry that light. Chosen one, understand this. God was never late. His timing was perfect, for he was building you in a way that no human hand could dismantle or deny. And now, because your roots have been planted deeply in faith, perseverance, and surrender, the fruit will be both visible and undeniable. This is your moment of emergence, not as one who stumbled into success by chance, but as one who was intentionally hidden for a divine purpose. What others perceived as wasted years were, in fact, holy years. The time you thought was lost was actually sacred ground for transformation. Now God is preparing to redeem every moment. What seemed delayed will be released with divine acceleration, and every hidden sacrifice will manifest in visible glory. Chapter 3. What the enemy stole, God is demanding back with interest. Chosen one, receive this truth with clarity and conviction. The pain you endured was never in vain. The time that slipped through your fingers, the love that left you broken, and the joy that was stolen from your spirit. None of it escaped the notice of the God who sees all things. Every tear, every ache, every silent battle was witnessed by heaven. You walked through fires meant to consume you and storms intended to sweep you away. Yet you survived, not by your own strength, but because your survival had already been decreed by heaven. There were entire seasons where you awoke with despair heavy on your chest, feeling as though nothing in your life was moving forward. You faced days when every effort you made seemed to collapse before your eyes. You gave your best in places that barely gave you the minimum in return. You remained loyal in relationships where your presence was undervalued and your heart was dishonored. And perhaps most painfully of all, the enemy tried to convince you that it was all meaningless, that your sacrifice, your faithfulness, your endurance, that your sacrifice, your faithfulness, your endurance were wasted. But hear this, the God of justice has not forgotten. What the enemy stole, God is not only reclaiming, he is demanding it back with interest. Every loss is being measured, and every wound will be redeemed with purpose and power. But God declares, I saw it all. I counted every tear you shed in silence. I witnessed every betrayal that pierced your heart. I marked every loss you endured. And now I am not stepping in merely to comfort you with words. I am stepping in to compensate you with power. Joel 2:25 is not simply a verse to be quoted casually. It is a spiritual decree backed by the authority of heaven. I will restore to you the years that the locusts have eaten. This promise means that every year you believed was wasted is now being divinely recalculated by the courts of heaven. Every moment the enemy attempted to steal, every opportunity, relationship, and fragment of your purpose is being revisited and redeemed by the justice of God. And here lies the miracle. When God restores, he does not return things to their former state. He does not simply give back what was taken in the same condition in which it left. Instead, he upgrades it. He stretches it, he multiplies it. His restoration is not a return to what was, but a transformation into something greater than what could have been without the loss. The relationships that ended without warning or closure were not the end of your story. God is now orchestrating divine connections, relationships marked by honor, safety, and purpose. The finances that once slipped through your hands are being replaced by streams of income that flowed not from compromise, but from the very core of your calling. The dreams you were once forced to place on the shelf are being revived, breathed upon by God himself with renewed power, clarity, and a fresh fire. What you once perceived as delay was, in truth, divine reservation. You thought you had missed your moment, but in reality, heaven was waiting for the appointed time, the moment when restoration would not only bless your life, but also silence every mocking voice that doubted your journey. God is not merely restoring what was lost, he is positioning you as a demonstration of his glory. You are becoming a divine example, a living prophecy, declaring to the world. This is what happens when you refuse to give up. This is what happens when you remain faithful. This is what happens when you trust me, even in the wilderness. And the enemy, he is being forced to watch, powerless, as God publicly honors what he once tried to destroy. Because not only is God repaying you for all that was lost, he is doing so publicly, in the presence of every person and spirit that sought to destroy you. The very ones who laughed while you wept, the ones who abandoned you while you remained steadfast, the ones who confidently declared that your story was over. Those are the ones who will now bear witness to your resurrection. They will watch as you rise in ways that defy logic and surpass human expectation. For this is not merely a season of restoration, it is a season of divine redemption. You are not returning to the version of yourself that existed before the hardship. You are stepping fully into the person God intentionally designed you to be. Before the pain, before the betrayal, before the delay. This is your payback season, and heaven has accounted for every stolen second, every silent tear, every unseen sacrifice, with interest. What was stolen from you will be returned in supernatural overflow. What was broken will be rebuilt with unparalleled beauty, and what was lost will be replaced, not just with recovery, but with legacy, something enduring, generational, and blessed. Chosen one, prepare yourself not merely for restoration, but for the righteous vengeance of God on your behalf. For according to divine justice, everything the enemy laid hands on, every area he disrupted, diminished, or attempted to destroy, must now be returned to you sevenfold. And when God determines to bless you, no force in hell, no opposition in the natural or spiritual realm, can block, delay, or overturn what he has ordained. Chapter 4. You pass the test, even when it hurt. Chosen one, Let us speak honestly. The journey was anything but easy. You endured more sleepless, tear-filled nights than anyone could have imagined. You wrestled internally, battling thoughts that questioned whether any of it was truly worth the cost. At times you wondered if God saw you at all, if he noticed your pain, your faithfulness, your quiet perseverance. There were days when the temptation to give up loomed large, when returning to the former version of yourself seemed easier. The version who didn't care as much, who didn't feel as deeply, who didn't carry the weight of this divine mantle. And yet, you didn't give in. You chose to hold on to your faith, your purpose, your calling, even as everything around you seemed to fall apart. In the face of silence, disappointment, and isolation, you remained steadfast. And in doing so, you passed the test, not without pain, but with perseverance. You continued to pray even when it felt as though your prayers were merely echoing back at you, unheard and unanswered. You remained committed to serving, even when no applause followed your efforts and no recognition came. You chose to stay when fleeing would have been far easier and more comfortable. You forgave those who never offered an apology, and you extended grace to individuals who deliberately sought to break you. This was not a sign of weakness, it was a profound display of spiritual strength. You passed the test, not because you were flawless, but because you remained faithful. You endured, not because you were numb to the pain, but because you refused to let the pain alter your posture toward God. While the world tried to harden your heart, you remained tender. While bitterness presented itself as the easier path, you chose holiness instead. You kept your heart pure, even in the moments when it was shattered. And God saw every moment. He witnessed the times when you longed to retaliate, but instead chose the strength of silence. He observed the moments when you felt the urge to give up, yet remained steadfast and planted in faith. He saw the doors that were abruptly and unfairly closed in your face, and still you continued to worship, undeterred and unwavering. Chosen one, you did not merely survive, you grew. You matured in character, in spirit, and in purpose. And now God is not only rewarding what you did openly before others, he is honoring what you endured quietly in the hidden places. The private battles, the silent sacrifices, the unseen obedience, all of it has been recorded in heaven, and now comes the recognition from God himself. This next season of your life is not the result of luck, karma, or coincidence. It is divine compensation. You did not merely pass a single test. Rather, you endured and overcame a series of hidden spiritual examinations that many fail quietly and without notice. You passed the test of integrity when no one was watching. You passed the test of delayed gratification when immediate reward was within reach. You passed the test of loving without condition and the test of suffering without complaint. You remained when others walked away, and now the teacher, God himself, is releasing your results. This is not a random elevation. It is a righteous and divinely appointed promotion. What is unfolding cannot be attributed to human effort alone. This is a breakthrough that defies natural explanation. It is supernatural favor, heavenly reward that has been stored up for you because you chose to stay the course, even when the path was difficult and unclear. So do not be surprised when the blessings you begin to walk in appear disproportionate to what others believe you deserve. They do not know the sleepless nights you endured, nor can they comprehend the level of spiritual warfare you had to survive just to remain standing. They are unaware of the restraint you showed, what you chose not to do, when you had every right and every reason to retaliate. But God knows, and heaven keeps more accurate and faithful records than any human ever could. You have passed the test of character, the test of purity, the test of trust, and the test of unwavering faith. And now the reward has arrived, pressed down, shaken together, and running over. This is your well-done season. This is the moment when your quiet sacrifices are transformed into visible, undeniable manifestations of God's faithfulness. This is the hour when your secret tears become the very foundation of your public testimony. The test is over, and now the promise begins. Chapter 5, the comeback will be public, but the process was private. Chosen one, understand this. Though your comeback will be visible to all, your process was intentionally hidden. They saw the silence, but they never perceived the storm raging within. They witnessed your stillness, but they remained unaware of the internal struggle. They observed you standing strong, but they did not see the countless nights when you almost didn't make it. For years you walked through fire, not with fanfare or attention-seeking, but with quiet endurance. You healed in silence. You labored in silence. You prayed, interceded, and rebuilt your life in silence. While others broadcasted their every move for validation, you chose private preparation over public recognition. You weren't seeking to be seen. You were simply fighting to survive. And even in your lowest, most fragile moments, you never released your grip on God. Your faith remained intact, your hope unwavering, and your posture humble. What the world is about to witness in your comeback is not just a story of resilience. It is a testimony of divine preservation. You have endured seasons of invisibility, periods when it seemed as though everyone around you was progressing while you remained stagnant. You watched others skip essential steps, cut corners, and still receive recognition and applause, while you remained in the shadows, often overlooked and underestimated. Yet you chose not to compromise your calling for the sake of being noticed. Instead, you allowed God to develop you in His timing and according to His purpose. That is why this comeback will be different, because your journey was never about seeking applause. It was about receiving anointing. You did not rush the process, force open doors, or manipulate outcomes. Rather, you chose to trust God even in the midst of pain and uncertainty. You allowed Him to break you, shape you, teach you, and refine you. While others pursued the spotlight, you remained faithful in the field. And now the very same God who once kept you hidden is preparing to reveal you in a way that only He can. This next level of elevation will not come through human connections, networking efforts, or strategic positioning. It will come directly from heaven. God is about to place you on platforms for which you never applied and open doors you did not even know existed. He is orchestrating circumstances where your name will be mentioned in rooms and conversations you were completely unaware of. In this season, your consistent obedience will speak more loudly and more powerfully than any opportunity ever could. This is not mere promotion, it is divine elevation. And it is not happening because you were the loudest voice in the room, but because you remained loyal when no one was watching. It is not because you sought popularity, but because your heart remained pure. It is not because you were flawless, but because, despite every challenge, you persevered. When others begin to witness what God is about to do in your life, it will be evident that no human effort or connection was responsible for your advancement. No one will be able to claim credit or boast that they played a role in your elevation. The favor that is about to rest upon you will unmistakably declare that this was the work of God alone. The results, your fruit, will speak far more powerfully than any explanation or defense you could ever offer. You will not need to justify your progress, defend your breakthrough, or respond to those who once doubted you. The visible outcomes of your obedience, your endurance, and the sacrifices you made in secret will become the clearest and most resounding message of all. So allow them to wonder, allow them to speculate, allow them to watch, because what God is about to unveil in your life will speak for itself, loudly, undeniably, and gloriously. What others perceived as the end of your story was, in truth, only the beginning of your preparation. That which they mocked and dismissed will soon become the very thing they come to respect and admire. The trials and circumstances they believed would break you are, in fact, the foundation upon which God is building your platform. This is not a moment of payback, nor is it an act of revenge. It is a divine restoration. The tables are turning, not because you manipulated the outcome, but because God is sovereignly orchestrating a complete rearrangement in your favor. Those who once assumed your journey was over are about to become witnesses to your flourishing. And this unfolding victory is not the result of striving, fighting, or self-promotion. It is the reward of your steadfast faithfulness. Your public comeback will serve as God's unmistakable signature on a life that remained pure, obedient, and devoted in the unseen, private moments. Prepare yourself for what you cultivated in the dark, through tears, silence, and perseverance, is about to radiate in the light. And when the spotlight finally shines, every ounce of glory will return to the one who sustained you, refined you, and held you steady through the hidden years. Chapter 6. The blessing isn't just payback, it's purpose. Beloved, understand this. The blessing that is being released over your life is not merely a form of payback. It is deeply rooted in divine purpose. You have been chosen not simply to be restored for the sake of personal comfort or validation, but because your journey carries a heavenly assignment. God is not restoring what you lost just to make you feel better about what you endured. He is restoring it because there is a divine purpose intricately woven into every part of your story. This next season of your life is not solely about experiencing abundance or enjoying luxury. It is about establishing and walking in legacy. Your suffering was never meant to end in mere survival. Every trial you endured, every tear you shed, and every battle you fought were shaping a story that is meant to serve, uplift, and inspire others. The blessing that is coming your way is not just for your benefit. It is intended to bless those who are divinely connected to your obedience. Your restoration is not random. It is a strategic move from heaven. It is a part of God's greater plan to bring impact through your life. What you are about to receive is a sacred trust, not just a reward. And in this, you will come to see that the blessing was never just about you. It was always about purpose. God is repaying you, but not just so you can have more, travel more, or shine brighter. He is blessing you because people are watching your life and looking for hope. They need to see that it is possible to recover after rejection. They need to know it is not too late to start again. They need proof that God can still bring beauty from ashes. And you are that proof. You are the answer to someone's silent prayer. The years you thought were wasted were actually building compassion in you. The nights you cried alone were watering a deeper kind of wisdom within you. The moments when you questioned your path were actually shaping a testimony that will help heal others. You went through a process to become a vessel for purpose. You were broken so that you could be used by God. You faced delays so that you could be made dependable. You didn't just go through the fire, you were refined by it. Now the gold within you is starting to show. Not to make you proud, but to help you live with purpose. God is turning you into a living example of restoration. A reminder that even when the enemy tries to harm you, God can still turn it into something good. The blessing will be weighty because the assignment is holy. The elevation will feel unfamiliar because you have never witnessed what God is about to accomplish through you. You are not merely stepping into a breakthrough, you are stepping into leadership. You are not simply receiving abundance, you are becoming a distributor of hope, truth, and light. Your story is destined to set captives free. Every scar you bear is a sermon in disguise. Every delay you experienced is a chapter in someone else's freedom story. Every detour God permitted is now becoming a divine direction for another person's deliverance. You were never just a victim of circumstance, you were a vessel in the making. Now that you have been processed, purified, and prepared, God is aligning purpose with every blessing you receive. Do not be surprised when people begin to seek you out for wisdom, nor be shocked when they entrust you with their pain. Do not feel overwhelmed when your life starts attracting souls who are searching for meaning and direction. This is happening because you have been called not only to prosper, but also to guide. The blessing upon your life is not merely for your comfort, it is for your calling. Yes, you will have wealth, but that wealth will be used to fund something far greater than yourself. You will experience peace, but it will be a peace that permeates and transforms your atmosphere. You will have influence, but it will be influence that brings honor to heaven. You are being strategically positioned as a light, not just to shine, but to illuminate the path for others. So when restoration comes, do not shrink back. Do not question whether you are worthy. Do not sabotage the new season God is bringing you into. Stand tall because everything you went through was preparing you for this moment. You are stepping into your purpose, and it will be greater than you imagine. God did not just save you, He is now sending you. He did not just repay you, He is releasing you. And the blessing will not end with you. It will begin through you. Chapter 7. You will no longer have to chase after what you desire, because it is already on its way to you, chosen one. This is the season in which the very things you once pursued with desperation will now pursue you, arriving in perfect alignment with divine timing. You are no longer the version of yourself who had to knock on closed doors, endure silence, or cry yourself to sleep while wondering when your moment would finally arrive. This is your season of fulfillment, your season of reaping, and your season of rest. But not a rest that stems from withdrawal or retreat. Rather, this is a rest that flows from revelation, a deep spiritual knowing that what is meant for you can no longer be withheld. God is now bringing to fruition the very promises he made to you. And the beauty of this moment is that you are not required to beg for their fulfillment. You do not need to strive, struggle, or hustle in order to earn divine assistance. There is no need to attempt to validate or prove what has already been spoken over your life through prophecy. You have already done the necessary inner work. You have endured and overcome trials that no one else could see. You have passed tests that came without warning or recognition. You remained faithful and authentic even when no one was watching or applauding. And now heaven is responding. What is coming your way is not a mere coincidence. It is a confirmation of what was always destined for you. What is arriving in your life is not random or accidental. It is royal in nature, aligned with your divine purpose. You are not experiencing favor by chance or luck. You are being remembered because of the covenant that was established over your life. Everything you once believed was passing you by, every opportunity, every blessing, every dream, was in truth being preserved for a future moment. That moment has come, because the version of you who now stands ready to receive these things is one who walks in humility, wisdom, and maturity. Now that version of you has arrived. You are healed, whole, and humbled. God is sending acceleration, not only for the things you prayed for, but also for the pain you endured quietly. You were never behind. You were being prepared. You were never disqualified. You were being set apart. You were never ignored. You were being equipped. The right people are being drawn to you by spiritual forces. Opportunities you never asked for are already on their way to find you. Doors you never imagined are opening for you through unseen help. This is the kind of favor that follows those who are ready. You will wake up and see that what you once chased is now right in front of you. You will speak less but gain more. You will move slower but go further because now you are moving with grace. And grace doesn't force, it flows. You won't need to explain where you've been. Your return will speak for itself. You won't need to tell your story. Your results will tell it better. You won't need to defend your calling. Your impact will make it clear. This is God's divine turnaround. It's big, it's seen, it's public, and it can't be denied. People will start asking, how did this happen so fast? They weren't there in the hard years. They didn't see the long, lonely nights, the tearful prayers, or the discipline you kept when no one noticed. But God saw it all. Now what he saw in private is being rewarded in public. This time you won't need to chase money. Money will come to you. You won't need to seek status. Your character will attract it. You won't need to ask for platforms. They will come to you. Why? Because your identity is clear. Your heart is clean. Your intentions are pure. And God is responding to that. He's not just rewarding you. He's revealing you. He's not only lifting you up. He's making you strong. He's not just giving back the lost years. He's showing you the purpose behind them. So don't be surprised when help comes from strangers, when doors open easily, and when favor follows you into new places. This isn't luck. It's God's promise being fulfilled. You won't need to fight to keep what's yours. You won't need to protect the blessing. The blessing will protect you. What's coming to you now is backed by heaven, and nothing, no person, no delay, no evil, can stop it. The shift isn't coming soon. It's happening now. You're not chasing it. It's chasing you. And this time, it will reach you. Chosen one, dry your tears, lift your head, stand tall. You're not too late. You didn't miss it. And nothing in your journey was wasted. And if you're still hungry for more chapters to this journey, or a visual concept for a video or thumbnail, just say the word. I'm here and ready to help bring it all to life. Thanks for watching. Here ends this video. Take a moment to like, share, and subscribe if you find this video interesting.